What's up, everyone? In this video, I'm going to be talking about wayfinding and finding the way to your true nature, whatever that is for you. Finding the way for your alignment in the moment. And the term wayfinder comes from the ancient Polynesian navigators who would navigate uncharted territories in the sea on canoes, and they were so adept at finding their way that they would be able to detect the direction to go to discover islands thousands and thousands of miles away by seeing the refractory patterns of the waves as they bounce off the ship, and by reading the ripples in the water and the direction of the wind and other patterns in the environment, they could direct themselves to masses of land, to unknown islands thousands and thousands of kilometers away. So they had this ability to drop out of the thinking mind, the language mind, into the present moment of sensing and feeling and pattern recognition, recognizing different patterns and information in their environment. And to do that, you have to become very present. So one of the keys to wayfinding, or finding your way to your true nature, whatever that is in the moment, is to drop out of the thinking mind, which is just the internal dialogue, the language of, oh, I think I should do this. I'm not sure if I should go this way or that way. Anything that comes to you in the form of words when wayfinding is going to be something that we're going to, for now, put to the side. And I have found that it is much easier to find alignment by dropping out of the story mode and coming into a state of being, coming into being mode. So getting out of thinking and doing and coming into being and existing, sensing and feeling. So this is this state of wordlessness that these wayfinders were in, where they could sense all of this information. And an easy way to get out of the verbal mind and into this state of wordlessness, this state of presence, this state of heightened awareness, is by using the nonverbal parts of our brain, the right hemisphere. A very simple technique to do that is from Eckhart Tolle. And what you're going to want to do is close your eyes and just hold up one hand. And with your eyes closed, just mentally ask yourself the question, and make sure your hand is in the air. It's not touching anything. It's not resting on a table or your lap or anything. It's just up in the air. And you're going to close your eyes and ask yourself, how do I know my hand exists without looking at it? And you'll notice you'll start to feel your hand from the inside. You're going to drop into the part of your brain that's associated with sensing and feeling, which is the nonverbal part of the brain, the right hemisphere. Okay, then you're going to lift up your other hand, and you'll just sense and feel your two hands simultaneously. And naturally, you'll slip out of the thinking mind into the nonverbal parts of the brain. Just continually sensing and feeling, and if your mind wanders, bring it back to the nonverbal sensing and feeling inside your hands. And if you do that, you should notice after a few minutes, or even after maybe 30 seconds or so, you'll start to drop into this deeper sense of presence and this heightened sense of awareness that is beyond the language, beyond the intellect. And from this state, we are much more adept at sensing, okay, what is the next step for me in this moment? And also in this state of wordlessness, when we drop into that nonverbal part of the brain, we're much less anxious and we can act with much greater clarity. Because think about it like this: when you're stuck in mental stories and mental narratives, your mind is automatically either anticipating some future event or worrying about the past, or just caught in some fantasy of I should be doing this or I shouldn't do that. And your mind is literally somewhere else than where your body is. So your body's here and your mind is here. And you have this gap, which by default creates anxiety and by default diminishes our capacity to really be able to wayfind with clarity. Okay, and I personally just, as an anecdote, I was just kind of feeling a little bit stuck this morning. And I did this exact exercise and dropped into that state of wordlessness. And all of a sudden this memory popped up in my head after I was doing it for a little bit. And then as I pulled myself out of it, this memory popped up into my head of me being a student in elementary school and loving this art class where we learned how to draw architecture and draw like a 2D building. And I thought that was the coolest thing. I remember loving it so much. And I actually wanted to be an architect when I was little. I completely forgot about that. So I just went on YouTube and looked up some beginner architectural drawing classes and was just drawing, and it was so fun. And like, I would have never thought to do that. So that was an alignment that came out of wordlessness, out of that state of presence. And I find that it's just a continual response to the moment. And after maybe 10 minutes, 20 minutes of doing that, once that activity, that drawing started to feel a little bit stale, I stopped. You know, maybe I needed to do something else in that moment and come back to that. So again, this is about just a continual call and response, a continual finding your way. And through this practice, we begin to cultivate a deeper sense of direction within ourselves. So I trust that this video was of benefit to you in some way. If it was, definitely let me know, leave a comment, and have a blessed day, my friends. All right, peace.